Hey gang, what's up? Welcome back here to another edition of Intuitive Angling, and thanks a lot for watching today's video. Much appreciated. We are going to make the case, or I'm going to make the case today, why every state in the country needs to have a season on bass. Just like states have a season on whitetail deer or turkey or anything like that. No different with bass. This is something I wanted to talk about quite a while, because over the past 2 years, we've had a lot of different conservation discussions on the channel, and sort of this whole genre has come up quite a bit. So anyway, some states already have seasons on bass, especially a few up north, but the season is just, I think it's where you can't keep bass. You can still fish, but you can't keep bass, is my understanding on that. But I want to talk about why every state in the country needs to have an off-limits period where you are not allowed to fish, period, for bass during a certain time frame of the year for conservation purposes and for the future of our sport, and how important this is. Now, what I'm talking about is, in my opinion, guys, we should not be fishing. We should not be having fishing allowed in our lakes during the spawn, when the fish are spawning, and during that critical period of the post-spawn when the bass are weak. Now, for the most part, this is going to encompass about a 2 to 2.5 month period out of the year, where, you know, say for example, and it depends on the part of the country you're in. If you're in Florida, your spawning season may start in January and last a little bit longer. If you're in my part of the country, the spawn usually starts around the first or second week of April, and then lasts till like the end of the month, and then the post spawns about another month on that. So the thing that I want to propose on this is that we don't allow fishing. The states do not allow you fishing for largemouth bass during these sensitive periods. Now, you can be on the lake just like you guys that deer hunt or something like that. You guys go out and, make food plots and all that type of stuff. During that period, you could still do that for fish. You could still be on the water, planting brush piles or scouting the lake or whatever, but just no fishing for that 2.5 month period. And it's not going to kill you. Because the thing about it is, we've got to stop being so self-centered on just what's here and now for us, what we can get for me. And we've got to start thinking about future generations, because our sport is we are killing our sport from loving it so much. It's not like it was, guys, 40 or 50 years ago, when not that many people bass fish. Bass fishing is getting more popular, more people on it every year, and as a result, we have to make adjustments within how we approach the sport that we have never done before. And all you guys that get bent out of shape, it's like, oh, Randy, that's the biggest sponge of crap in the world. You're not going to tell me when I can and can't fish. My rebuttal to that is, stop thinking about yourself. Start thinking about what you're handing off to generations, if we are fortunate enough to be here 50 or 100 years from now, what kind of fishery they're going to have. Now, here's the benefit by doing that. Let's take Missouri, for example. Let's say that the state made it off limits to fish for bass starting April 1st up through, say, July 15th. Now, during this period, the fish are ready and starting to spawn. It's like once you start to get around April 1st, water temperatures are starting to get in the upper 50s, around 60, and within the next 2 or 3 weeks, you're going to have a major spawn on the lakes there. Let those fish spawn undisturbed. Completely stay away from them. Don't touch them. Don't fish with them at all. And after about the 3rd week of April or the 1st week of May, a lot of the fish are done spawning, and it takes them about a month that they're in this post-spawn phase of recuperation, when they're very weak. These fish are weak from the spawning ritual, and they die very easily if you catch them. They're stressed out. So my proposal would be, say in Missouri, making fishing off limits from April 1st to, say, sometime around the first part of June or maybe the 2nd week of June. Let these fish do what they need to do, because what it's going to do, it is going to improve the fisheries for the rest of the year and down the road like you wouldn't believe. We're going to have better spawns. We're going to have more successful spawns. We're not going to have a ton of delayed mortality from tournaments during the post-spawn that are killing all these quality fish. The fisheries are going to thrive as a result of this, and it's not going to kill you guys not to fish on one lake for 2 months. It's not going to kill you. It's almost like that is the price you pay for sustainability in the sport. Now, if you just can't stand it and you've got to go fishing, you can always go to a different state. Because, say, for example, If we put in Missouri the off limits period from April 1st to sometime in June, if you guys go down in Texas, it's going to be early. The time down there it's going to be late February to maybe April. So there's always some place that you could bass fish if you want to go bass fishing. But the point of the matter is, it's not going to kill you to not fish for bass for 2 months out of the year, and you can spend that time building cover, building habitat, learning the lake, graphing the lake, becoming more familiar with everything about it. Do your scouting, just like you guys scout for deer, and like I said, with food plots. And the result of this, guys, it's a responsible thing to do, because we're taking into consideration conservation, number one, sustainability of our sport, number two, the future of our fisheries, and the quality of our fisheries for future generations. If you can't get on board with that, you have to sort of examine why you're being so self-centered in fishing out there. And I think a lot of people would agree with me on that, because I get tons, guys, I get tons of comments about people wanting to ban or not be able to fish when the fish are spawning. It's an obvious, you know, you don't go out and deer hunt when the deer are giving birth to babies. It's the same thing with fish out there. So anyway, we have got to have a little bit of a paradigm shift, because you can't relate all of the way we approach fishing over the past 50 years as far as your perceived rights as, you know, a citizen to fish in this country. We have got to make modifications on that due to the popularity of the sport, because like I said, we are loving the sport to death. And unless we acknowledge that and start making some adjustments with it, it's gonna hurt everybody. It's not only we're gonna suffer down the road, but everyone that wants to try to fish in the, you know, 30 years from now, everybody's gonna suffer. But with just that simple little adjustment, let those fish spawn, let them recover from spawning out there. That's going to make fishing so much better for everybody out there. Almost immediately, you're going to notice the result on that. But anyway, let me know what you guys think about it. I'll be curious, and we'll talk later. See you.